Football Queensland's coverage of the 2019 NPL and NPLW season is brought to you by Walking Football, a small-sided, low-impact modified version of the game, suitable for all levels of ability and fitness. Play futsal. Keep your outdoor team together and play futsal during the off-season. Visit playfutsalqld.com.au to find out more. Summer football is a fun, social football format played on smaller fields for all ages and is perfect for keeping fit and playing with your mates during the off-season. Visit the FQ website to find a club hosting a summer football competition near you. Brisbane Roar FC memberships are now on sale. Get exclusive access to all areas of Queensland's only Hyundai A-League side by becoming a member today. Secure your membership for the 2019-20 season by visiting raw.memberlink.net.au.
The grand final's a massive stage. There'll be lots of people watching, lots of people will be here. But for myself, I'm just looking to play my part in the team and do my best for the club. Nobody ever got anywhere playing it on their own in a team, so that's what I'll be looking to do on Sunday.
You're scoring them, but defending also needs to come into a star.
Gained a lot of confidence from the Adelaide game and as well last week, so we believe in ourselves and we know if we play our best, we'll give ourselves every chance of winning.
Our players are more than ready for this type of occasion. Mentally, of course, it's a little bit of a shift in terms of your regular league games, but that's any final around any country in the world. You know, a final is a final. Usually, it's won and lost by moments of madness or moments of brilliance. And I think that my biggest message to our players is to not do anything differently that you've done over the course of the season. And just because it's a grand final week doesn't mean to say that we have to change our patterns, our routines, doesn't mean to say that you don't have to go to work, doesn't mean to say that you don't have to do the things that you've been doing. So stay calm, try and stay relaxed, enjoy the occasion, but obviously stay focused in our roles and responsibilities that got us here.
Yeah, look, the fans are great. They're undoubtedly the best fans in the league, so to have their support every week gives us a big boost, and I'm sure we'll see plenty of them again on the weekend.
It'll be a great occasion for South East Queensland football. It'd be good to see a great support, even if you're not a Knights fan or you're not an Olympic FC fan, just to come down and enjoy what should be a good game.
It's been a long season. All the way back in February, these teams started out on their journey towards this National Premier League's Queensland final. 15 teams started, just 2 remain, and it's Gold Coast Knights who will be taking on Olympic here at Perry Park in the decider. Good evening and welcome to Perry Park. A beautiful evening for football and a fantastic atmosphere building here as both sets of supporters start to answer each other's calls. It really is starting to become electric. I'm Simon Smale in the host's chair this evening. Alongside me is Brisbane Football Review's James Coughlin. James, fantastic atmosphere building, and we should be in for a real treat this afternoon. 2 exciting teams who play exciting football.
Thanks, Simon. It's a pleasure to be here. We've got 2 battle-tested sides that have really earned their place in the decider tonight. I think we're going to be in for a fantastic show.
It's Olympic's 2nd grand final in succession. It's their 4th since 2013 when they last won the National Premier League's Queensland title. For Gold Coast Knights, it's their maiden grand final appearance in their maiden season. Incredible journey for Gray Piddock's side, and they really have set the competition alight.
It's a testament to what Gray Piddock has done with that side. He's been able to get them into the grand final in his first season in charge. I think, he's built a strong, resilient team that knows how to generate results, and plenty of big names in that side as well.
There are plenty of big names out there, plenty of familiar names as well, which we'll get to when we announce the starting lineups very shortly. But before we do that, we should get into what happened the last time these 2 sides met. Not perhaps the last time these 2 sides met, but around 30 clash between the 2 teams. A little bit of a damp squib. The Gold Coast Knights did run out 4-2 winners, but it was a much changed Olympic side. They made a whole host of changes, and due to that, we have all of the situation where Olympic have to really put that to one side. It was a young team, whereas Alex Smith, he was the only real player there, and he's not even playing tonight. We'll talk about that more in a little bit later.
Yeah, I think, both teams were their final positions in that round 30 match. They were in self-preservation mode there. So I think tonight there's going to be a lot more on. I think it's going to be much more similar to that round 15 clash that we saw between those two sides.
What a stonker of a game that was. A round 15 clash, 3-3 it finished. I think it just about had everything involved in that game. Olympic took the lead. Gold Coast Knights took the lead. It was Jared Carl just showing what a tremendous goal poacher he is. In that situation, and he put Olympic on the back foot, but they responded absolutely superbly.
Yeah, it was 3 goals. Lucas, Lofthouse and Smith putting Olympic up 3-2. Obviously, Matt Schmidt scored in the mix there as well, but it was that last-minute equaliser. Oscar Dillon, fantastic ball from Mitch Nichols. Watch the replay if you can. It was fantastic.
Well, last minute doesn't quite cover it. It was the 6th minute of injury time, and Gold Coast Knights were down to 10 men. I think that should be worth remembering. They lost Jaden Walker with a shoulder injury, and they'd made all their substitutions. So Olympic looked to be home and hosed at 3-2, but Gold Coast Knights, they never say die, and they were absolutely fantastic in coming back from that game. It was bonkers, but you could see the lift that it gave them, and it gave them a real sense of impetus going into the second half of the season.
Yeah, definitely. You can see their results really begin to pick up after that. They got so much more defensively sound, plenty of clean sheets in the second half of the season as well. But that game, it was a wide open end-to-end game, and if we're in for something similar tonight, you're going to see someone like Jez Lofthouse from Olympic. I think he's going to play a big role here.
We'll go into a little bit of a discussion about how we're going to talk about how they got to the grand final. Gold Coast Knights, of course, beating Peninsula Power down in Carrara last weekend at the Croatian Sports Centre. It's almost hard to hear myself think at the moment. The team, it really is. It's a phenomenal atmosphere, and it was a phenomenal atmosphere down on the Gold Coast last weekend as well. Knights won it by 2-1. Max Brown with the opener, Jared Carl the second. Trent McAvoy got consolation for Peninsula Power, but it could have been very different.
Yeah, Gold Coast had plenty of chances. They could have been up 3-4, 5-1 at that point, and it just really could have been a much bigger blowout as well.
It's one of those situations where we can see the goals on our screen now. So many chances. Jared Carl just making a nuisance of himself as he does, and that's really what he does so well.
Yeah, he gets into the right spot, manages to get on the end of some rebounds here, and you can see Penn Power just trying to get one back, but the majority of the chances really came for Gold Coast Knights. As we see the equaliser here for Trent McAvoy, it was a header off a corner. I think set pieces could play a big role tonight as well, but Gold Coast, how many chances did they have here? We just see this one just blocked off the line. There was another one later on as well. Really, there's just so much for Gold Coast. They've got to be a lot more efficient tonight.
They certainly will, and you do get a sense that sometimes they lose their way in the middle of matches, don't they, Gold Coast Knights? We certainly saw that on this occasion. That might come back to hurt them, because Olympic, although they don't have perhaps the strongest defence of any team in the competition, I think that it's been only 9 clean sheets this season. They've conceded the highest number of goals of the top 4, almost double what Knights conceded, 43 compared to 22. But Olympic really make the most of it going forwards, and they could cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, and there's I see a couple of quick chances here as well for Gold Coast Knights, and one more of them just has to go in.
Well, let's talk about Olympic now and how they managed to get through to the grand final. As we see the final highlights from that match, and this game up at AJ Kelly Park, well, it was a fantastic game, and this time Olympic had to come from behind. They haven't had a great run against Lions. It was their 5th game in which they really struggled against them. But Ben Khan, he'd only just got back from Korea doing his pro licence, so it wasn't an ideal preparation, but they really made up for it. Nathan Reardon got the opening goal for Lions, and then Jez Lofthouse, right on the stroke of half-time, he got the equaliser. And then that goal at the back post from Chris Lucas. Absolutely stunning effort there.
And you can see just how much that win meant to them as well, finally getting over that hurdle.
It did make an awful lot of difference. We'll look at some of the stats now. Olympic, they're not shy, not backwards in going forwards. 87 goals over the course of the campaign. It's the second highest tally in the competition. All but 20 of those goals were scored by the combination of Chris Lucas, Jez Lofthouse, Alex Smith, Steve White and Costa Saros. They are a dynamic attacking team, aren't they, Olympic?
Yeah, they are, and they're the only team to put 3 past Gold Coast in a single game as well. Gold Coast, you have to be impressed by that defensive stat for them as well. 23 goals conceded, 14 clean sheets on the season. It's the sort of result you want in finals football, where you might get games where just one moment does make the difference.
Well, Oscar Dillon and Matt Smith will be key at the heart of that Gold Coast Knights defence. It has to be said. Just a quick reminder that the Brisbane Roar memberships, they're now on sale, so you can get exclusive access to all areas of Queensland's only Honda A-League club by becoming a member today. Secure your membership by visiting raw.memberlink.net.au. Roar getting their season underway very, very shortly.
To the Brisbane Roar family, I'm proud to be on board for the 2019-20 Hyundai A-League season. I'm excited to be here in Brisbane and for the challenge that lies ahead. So why don't you secure your membership right now, and let's make sure we all roar as one.
More observant amongst you would notice that James has stepped out of the picture and it's been replaced by Alex Smith. Alex, I think we'd all prefer to see you in red and white stripes tonight. Can you explain to those who might not be aware what happened in the semi-final?
Yeah, so last minute I came down a bit awkwardly on my knee and already didn't have the ACL, so now I got a couple of torn meniscus as well. So that'll be it for me as a player, so looking to get into coaching now.
For those of you who don't know, you've been playing for 4 months without an ACL. I mean, it's an incredible testament to your perseverance and how much you want to give back to this team that has given you a fair amount over the last couple of years, and it's a really tight-knit group, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I came there a year and a half ago and was a bit out of love with the game, and they've really helped me reignite that love for the game and get me back into a good space where I'm looking forward to coaching and so I got nothing but love for the entire staff and the entire team. So I'll be singing with the hooligans tonight, and hopefully they get over the line.
Yeah, well, hopefully they're not too disruptive. Of course, the match is a fantastic atmosphere. I'm sure you'll agree. We don't often get this at the National Premier League level in Queensland, so it's really exciting.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I had a grand final about 7 years ago in Sydney with Olympic v Sydney United. It was, and it was. It was a bit bigger than this, but this is brilliant for local football in Queensland. So I'm really looking forward to the game.
Similar situation, of course, back then as it is tonight. You scored 18 goals in 25 games this season. Your impact on the side, though, can't just be measured in goals. It's the way you bring players into the game. It's the way that you manage to dictate play, especially in that playmaking role. Who needs to step up in your absence tonight?
Oh, look, in the semi-final, I played a bit of a deeper role. I played a bit more defensive midfield, so I don't think we're going to have any issues. Jez Lofthouse is, he's slotted into the 10 position there where I was used to be playing. So, he's a top player. He's a top talent. I've got no issues with him, and he'll be fit and firing tonight. So, obviously Kostasaurus on the left now because Jez has come inside. But looking for probably a big game out of Danny Driver as well. So all in all, I'm not too worried about me being out based on the semi-final.
Well, we're all disappointed, I can assure you that. Similar situation this time last year. You guys were preparing for a grand final. Of course, it didn't go your way on that occasion. How much has that driven the team towards the success that you've garnered this season? Yeah,
I mean that's been the talk all year. We've got a really great group, and we deserve a trophy to show for it. And I think once the season was finished and the cup was done, this became this is where we want to be. And getting over the line against Lions in the semi was a big thing for us. I think we've lost them 5 games in a row or something. So, that'll do the boys' confidence a world of good. And playing in the big game last year with all the hype and all the nerves and all that sort of stuff, they'll be ready for this year. So, looking, I've got a pretty good feeling about tonight.
Probably slightly better preparation this week rather than last week because of Ben Khan being in the country. Of course, he's doing his pro license in Korea, so he spent a lot of time overseas this season. How have the boys been this week? Are they ready? Are they excited? Are they nervous?
Yeah, I mean, I was speaking to Ben just half an hour ago, and he said, "Look, pretty much don't really have to do much because we've been waiting for this moment for 12 months." So. Just to reiterate the same messages that they've been sending, all year, and last year was definitely on everyone's mind, and hopefully we can get a trophy and have something to show for how good of a group it is.
Also played here, of course, in the FFA Cup round of 32 against Adelaide United. It was a fantastic performance, but unfortunately not the right result. What's going to change tonight?
Oh, look, I think we'll be a bit more aggressive tonight. Obviously, with Adelaide, we had to sit in a little bit, but NPL opposition. I don't think we'll have an issue going after them and hopefully catching them out on the break. And I think we'll give them a lot of trouble going forward.
Do any of their players concern you? Jared Cole, obviously, he's a combustible sort of character. He gets himself and throws himself about at the back, up front there. Could cause some problems defensively.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we played them, when we had a full-strength team, we drew 3-3. Both teams scored goals.
It's a bonkers game of football.
Yeah, absolute madness. So I thought I'd score the winner, but it wasn't meant to be. But no, I mean, they're a quality side. They got a lot of experience and a lot of good players. Matty Smith at the back, he's been massive for them. So it'll be a question of which strength comes through, our attack or their defence. So I think our boys will get over the line.
It's a tantalising prospect. Alex, thank you very much. Enjoy the game. As I said, we wish you were out there, and I'm sure you do too, but congratulations on a phenomenal career. Congratulations on everything you've achieved with Olympic over the last couple of seasons, and hopefully we'll see you in the commentary box perhaps over the next couple of seasons.
Maybe. Thank you very much, man.
No, it's great to chat to you. Cheers. Well, now we'll run through the teams. Apologies, just running through our run sheet now. Okay, so we'll just run quickly through the starting 11s now. We do have them hot off the press, and we'll start with Gold Coast Knights first. Gold Coast Knights, who would like to thank the Croatian Sports Centre for all the support that they've given them over the course of the season, and Football Gold Coast. It's been a fantastic season for football on the Gold Coast. A lot of success in the FFA Cup against Football Brisbane teams and indeed National Premier League teams on occasion. And hopefully Gold Coast Knights will be able to see things off now. And this is the team that they're going to hope will do it. Joshua Langdon in goal, and in front of him, Jaden Walker wearing the number 2 shirt. Number 3, Oscar Dillon. Number 6, Roman Hoffman. Number 8, Matthew Smith. Number 9, Sam Smith. Number 10, Max Brown. Number 13, Jared Carl. Number 16, Mitch Nichols. Number 17, Nick Panetta. And number 23, Matt Schmidt. Substitutes, Danny Morton, number 4. Number 7, Luke Marsh. 11, Jaden Prasad. Number 15, Shannon Brady, and number 20, Tim Allen. That is a very, very strong team, James.
It is, but Olympic have got a similarly strong team as well, but they would like to thank its sponsor, the Coffee Club, for supporting them throughout the 2019 season. In goals, they've got Brandon Kumanau, number 2, Jack Glover, number 5, Steve White, number 6, Matt Mundy, number 7, Shelford Deas, number 8, Kazuya Ito, number 9, Chris Lucas, number 11, Jez Lofthouse, number 12, Costa Psaros, number 17, Daniel Driver. Number 19, Jean-Philippe Lasson. It's going to be a good game.
That attacking triumvirate of Olympic is so important, isn't it? I know personally myself, I think that for Olympic to succeed, Shelford Deas needs to have a fantastic game, as does Jean-Philippe Lasson.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen Lasson in the FFA Cup as well against Adelaide. He was all over the pitch. I know you were singing his praises throughout that night. And yeah, I think it's going to be determined in the midfield.
It wasn't just me, Ben Khan after the game particularly enjoyed that as well. We'll shortly be out of here, James, and we'll be looking forward to this match as much as anyone. But before we go, we should have a special mention for our match commentator today. Rafe Griffin has been commentating on Football Queensland over the last couple of seasons. This is going to be his last match as a full-time Football Queensland commentator. I'm sure he'll be popping up every now and then, though, over the course of the next campaign and indeed the upcoming campaigns. So before we hand over to Rafe, we'll watch you to watch this short video.
Hello, I'm Rafe Griffin and welcome to this Queensland Soccer News special presentation.
On a run now, Lucas Wilson. He's around Rigby. Lucas Wilson has stolen this match. This is Cody Lovell, and that is the premiership for Lions. And he puts it away. Olympic Well, folks, if the semi-finals are any indication, you're in for a great grand final next Sunday night. Join me from 6 p.m. on behalf of the team. It's Rafe Griffin signing off from the Croatian Sports Centre. Out come the match officials and the two sets of teams. Traditional football here at Perry Park, the traditional home of football in Queensland, and grand final action returns to the Grand Old Dame. Fantastic atmosphere, fantastic crowd in. There's the Gold Coast Knights in their white strip. Olympic playing in the blue and white this evening. Mitch Nichols there on screen. Chris Lucas there in the number 9 shirt for Olympic, as the two teams get ready to congregate out in the middle of the park as we get to the final game of the NPL Queensland season. Matt Mundy just accompanying some of the kids out onto the park. While we wait for the traditional start to this game, let's take you through the two team lineups for this evening. Well, Gray Pittock characteristically takes an unchanged lineup into tonight's match, with Josh Langdon starting in goal, 2 Jaden Walker, 3 Oscar Dillon, 6 Roman Hoffman, 8 Matt Smith, 9 Sam Smith, 10 Max Brown, 13 Jared Kyle, 16 Mitch Nichols, 17 Nick Panetta, and 23 Matt Schmidt. The subs for the Gold Coast Knights this evening are Danny Morton, Luke Marsh, Jaden Prasad, Shannon Brady, and Tim Allen. For Olympic, as we saw before, Alex Smith out injured in that win against Lions last week. That brings Denny Driver into the starting lineup, with Charles Slaney elevated into the matchday squad. Their team this evening for Olympic. Brandon Cumineo will be in goal. 2 is Jack Glover, 5 Steve White, 6 Matt Mundy, 7 Shelford Deus, 8 Kazuya Ito, 9 Chris Lucas, 11 Jez Lofthouse, 12 Costa Saros, 17 Danny Driver, and 19 is Phil Latham. The substitutes for Olympic: Dakota Sprange, Kristen Waters, Eric Panzer, Charles Slaney, and James Cumineo. Our match officials this evening powered by Total Tools. With the whistle is Nathan McDonald. He'll be assisted by James Sherry and Oleg Labutz. And the fourth official is Anton Shetman. So there's Olympic final pre-match huddle. Brandon Cumineo set to return back to the goal line. Gold Coast Knights pretty much ready to go. Olympic with first use of possession. Chris Lucas will be to get us underway here in the grand final of 2019. Just about in readiness. A big block of Olympic supporters in this evening. We saw them out at Lions Stadium last year, of course, in the grand final. It's the 2019 NPL Queensland Grand Final. The Gold Coast Knights taking on Olympic. And my co-commentator this evening is Martin Doherty. Good evening, Martin. Always a special occasion, a grand final.
Unbelievable, Rafe, and thank you for the invite. Just looking at the remnants of the red moon in the background. Looks absolutely fantastic. What a setting. Congratulations and well done to Brisbane Strikers. What a facility, and again, tremendous support from both sets of supporters, and it's going to make for an interesting evening. That's all I can say.
Already plenty of noise, Martin. What do you think we're going to see out of the two teams?
It's funny, I've been talking to a number of people today, and I've had so many varying outcomes or suggested outcomes. The one that's come up a lot tonight is the fact that Olympic, we believe, they're going to miss Alex Smith, I reckon, tonight. First 5 minutes, first 10 minutes will probably set the tone for the game. But personally, I'm hoping for a high-scoring, free, open game where there's plenty of noise, plenty of action, and of course, may the best team win.
Well, there has been plenty of goals between these two teams this year, as recently as round 30, where the Gold Coast Knights defeated Olympic by 4 goals to 2. And then earlier in the year, in round 15, it was a 3-3 draw between Olympic and the Gold Coast Knights. Oscar Dillon coming up with a goal in the 6th minute of the stoppage time, so 6 goals in each of the encounters this year.
I was going to say, and obviously there's goals in the game. The ironic thing is that 4-2 game a couple of weeks ago was the Olympic Young Guns. That was the kids that they happened to play that night, but by all accounts they actually made a really, really good game of it. And but 4-2 probably, I wouldn't say flattered the Gold Coast, but 6 goals in a game, can't complain.
Down the line,
let's hope we get 6 tonight, huh?
Let's hope. A free-flowing grand final with plenty of goals is Martin Doherty's prediction.
Lots of goals. This is fantastic. This is so good for the game. It's great to see. And the Olympic supporters have actually been getting noisier as the season's gone on. They're getting noisier and noisier. It's good to see and good to hear.
So Chimineo sends this one long. Dennis is the man there that nods on, trying to find his teammate in Lucas. Steve White has been very impressive, the Olympic skipper this year. As always, we want to know your thoughts on social media, so go to the Facebook page of Football Queensland. Let us know your thoughts on this game. We'll read those out as we go through the game, as we have the first free kick of the evening going Olympics way.
Just looking at how they're setting up, Olympic are setting up, they've got 3 up top straight away. I noticed that straight away, so I'm just wondering if they're planning on going direct initially rather than playing through the midfield, because Olympic are one thing they're very good at is actually keeping the ball.
Ball played into the area there, and Langdon punches away. A long-range effort, skims wide of the upright.
I was just looking at the formation there, the Olympic setup there with that, the 3 up top, and I'm thinking, I wonder if they're going to go direct initially and try and combat Gold Coast trying to play it with the numbers up top. You just see the way they've set up now. So they're going to stop them from playing it and force them long.
So Langdon's goal kick here for the Knights. Up towards the halfway line. Lazem getting a touch. Lofthouse.
Both teams have got some game winners in the lineup,
Plenty out there.
Plenty. It's amazing. I'm looking at young Jez Lofthouse, and there's a boy who gets on the ball, he'll beat a player and he'll score a goal for you. Mitch Nichols on the other side. We've got Sam Smith. We've got plenty of goal scorers. Plenty of them.
Driver was for Olympic. And now Deus just looks up, spots what's ahead of him. Couldn't link up with his teammate there in Lucas. White. Forward for Lofthouse, takes a touch. Couldn't get one away towards goal.
Apologies, I missed Chris Lucas there as well, and goal scorer. So.
Of course, was the Golden Boot leader for most of the year until that extraordinary effort from Andy Pengelly against the Sunshine Coast Fire.
Amazing.
Leading goal scorer at least for Olympic this year. Comes up against his former coach this evening, who he had much success with at Palm Beach, then Gold Coast City.
He had a good spell down in Melbourne as well, did Chris. He's, I think he tore his cruciate a couple of years ago and came back just as good as he was when he did get injured, or prior to him getting injured. But very, very good striker. Knows where the goal is and scores different types of goals as well, which is always a good thing for a striker.
Deus takes a touch, leaves it for White. Lofthouse. Good turn from him. As Olympic continue to build up here. Saros runs out of room, and the Gold Coast Knights supporters, they certainly let them know their thoughts. They've made the trek up the M1 in a bus. I think 3 buses, they said, came up from... They've had a lunch at the Croatian Sports Centre today, so they've made quite the day of it.
Yeah, and they're making plenty of noise. Good on them. Just looking at Jez Lofthouse's position at the moment, it looks like he's playing it as a number 9.
It does, doesn't he?
Centrally, yeah.
Usually plays down the left wing, but...
so there's obviously a tactic there.
Obviously, it's either that or to try and fill the hole of Alex Smith.
Yeah.
I guess it's forced a bit of a tinkering.
It would have, as I'm saying. Alex is the ultimate predator.
Here's Panetta. Been on the bench for most of this season, finds his way into the starting lineup this evening and started in that victory against Peninsula Power last week as well. Here's Lofthouse. Forward in search of Lucas. Looked to have got in there behind Matt Smith. But Langdon coming to the edge of his area. Mops up the situation.
I'm just saying about the different types of goals that Chris Lucas can score. That ball over the top, he's still got that pace. And if he gets one-on-one, more often than not, he's going to score a goal.
Here's Schmidt, fronted by two Olympic players, Nichols, in tandem with his former Raw teammate, and held there by Kimonea. Of course, those two, Mitch Nichols and Matt Smith, part of that victorious 2011 and 2012 Raw squad. Matt Mundy was in the squad, didn't find his way onto the park in those grand finals. Certainly a lot of familiar faces out there this evening. Lofthouse battles hard. Got Deus in a bit of room, goes himself here, Lofthouse. Goes right, goes left. Plays it into the area, still going Jez Lofthouse. And that's some of the danger that he's capable of. Jez Lofthouse has really got that X factor. Yeah,
definitely, and I'm just thinking now that the fact that he usually plays on the left-hand side normally means that he's actually attacking just one area. Centrally he can go obviously straight, he can go left or he can go right. It looks like that's what Ben's got him set up to do tonight. Let's see how he goes throughout the game.
Now Panetta's been launched on a run. He's in behind the defence. Panetta scores the opening goal for the Gold Coast Knights. Wonderful work there from Nick Panetta in the lead-up. Found a way in behind the defenders, picked his angle, and he put it away. The Knights go ahead early on.
Direct ball, yeah. I was actually looking at the ball prior to that and how Nicholas got that. That was so easy. It was just a ball over the top. And there he goes. He steps in and opens his body and looks at the far corner and scores. Simple goal. And an early one as well. Probably what a final needs is an early goal. So here's that ball there. Just an easy ball over the top. A little bit of a slip there.
Came from Matt Schmidt there in the lead-up.
A little bit of a slip. Opens his body. No chance for the goalkeeper.
So an early blow from the Knights. How will Olympic react now? Knights 1 to the good.
It's funny, Rafe, just prior to the goal, I noticed when the goalkeeper, Brendan, played the ball out to young Jack Glover, and Jack dropped it back to the goalkeeper, and Brendan just knocked the ball out under no pressure whatsoever. So I'm just thinking a little bit of nerves from both the young boys at the back, and less than a minute later, Gold Coast are 1-0 up. So from an enforced error, you get a goal.
So the Knights forward with confidence. Hoffman. As I said before, we'd love to know your thoughts on Facebook this evening. Elf, thank you very much for the kind thoughts. We've got Shelley Nightingale tuning in tonight, Martin.
Hello, Shelley.
She says hello to you as well. John Walsh predicting that Olympic will win 2-1. Well, the Knights have already scored the 1. It's now up to Olympic to score the 2 to try and make that prediction come true as Mundy clears away. Joe Enmore, the first time watching the NPL Queensland, loving it. Great to have your company tonight, Joe. Steve is supporting the Knights. So, as always, lovely to have you on board. And someone you may know, a bloke called Pat Hedges.
Good old Pat. Hello, Pat. How are you? The boys from the Gold Coast are 1-0 up and doing well.
And Keith Bright, as always, our loyal watcher on from Auckland in New Zealand. Thanks very much for once again tuning in. We hope you enjoy this 2019 Grand Final. So Dylan has to make a bit of a race to reel that one in. He only just managed to do so. Now Langdon comes under some pressure from the Gold Coast native in Lucas, who subsequently gives the foul away right in front of the Gold Coast Knights supporters.
Don't want to get that. Put the goalkeeper under that little bit of pressure. they're almost a coach killer. You just say to them, just don't touch him, leave him. And of course, any touch, and that's the cue for the defender to hit the ground.
Sometimes strikers have that mentality, win at all costs.
Win at all costs. You just got to get that ball. You smell it and you want to get it.
So Langdon's free kick. Sent into the Gold Coast Knights attacking half. Contested ball that Lofthouse attempts not on. Now the Gold Coast Knights with something on it. Was it kept in? It was, but it's Chimineo there. Gently rolls it out.
Just prior to the kick-off, I was watching Matt Mundy in training, and he's got his knee heavily bandaged, and I'm just wondering if he's going to struggle with his mobility in the field there. Heavily bandaged, really tight, so I'm wondering if he's carrying a major injury there, and that's going to give Gold Coast Knights a little bit of superiority in that central midfield area, because he'll lack that mobility if he's bandaged up so tightly.
I think it's been a perennial issue for Matt Mundy in the last couple of years or so. See how it affects him. He's looking all right as he's on the ball now. Ito, Lazem. Good little work there from Phil Lazem. Enough to earn a free kick for his side.
The referee tried to play advantage, but obviously called it back. Did well.
Take it quickly, Olympic. Deus, like the skipper, loses out that time round. Once again.
You know, that's the third time they've played that same ball. Mitch Nichols played one prior to the goal. That's the third time, so it's pretty obvious that they're looking at Olympics high line to see if they can try and exploit that space in there.
Brown for Kyle, it was that time round. There's Olympic now, sniffing attack. Set over the crossbar. Once again, the ironic cheers from the Knights supporters. White in the lead up. Played it cleverly on to the left. Saros blazed over the bar.
I think Saros will be sort of kicking himself a little. He'd love to have that over again, because that's a great ball by Stephen White. Brilliant ball. A little bit of composure you need in the front third. You just got to sometimes take that extra touch and give yourself that opportunity. Just think of the goal that Nicholas has just scored there, almost identical, the same on the opposite side. You know what I mean? Just take a touch, compose yourself.
So Dillon. Hoffman. Matt Smith. Schmidt. Once again for the Gold Coast Knights. Brown scored last week in that win against Peninsula Power. Hoffman tried to play a long ball. It was cut out by the hands of Lucas. Lazem looking to build on the counter. Just a fraction over hit. And Matt Smith, the experienced defender. Mid-season recruit, of course, for the Gold Coast Knights, coming back from Hong Kong.
Just such a good tackle, they're so clean.
Gary Piddick having a very vociferous chat to the fourth official, Anton Shetland, presumably for that handball that Chris Lucas has. Probably thought that even though they didn't get the free kick of playing advantage, perhaps the yellow ticket was worthy for that little effort from Chris Lucas as the Knights break again. Oh, great tackle from Lofthouse. And here is the first yellow card of the evening. It's the captain, Sam Smith, into the notebook on the quarter-hour mark.
He just goes fast to say that was an agricultural foul. He just basically
I love that term.
him.
An agricultural challenge.
There's no way he was getting past.
So Driver the man to have it. See from that camera angle there previously, the angle that he'll have towards goal. So in the wall for the Knights. Bit of a scuffle at the edge of the area, and Nathan McDonald in just to provide a few soothing words and say, settle it down, boys. Nothing silly, thank you very much. Matt Smith holding his ground. Referee will just remain in very close quarters to keep an eye on that as Driver's free kick is played in towards the box. Cubaneo now outside of his area. Lazar quickly arriving.
We got away with that one.
Was Jared Kyle. Hoffman just couldn't quite get it right there. The thumbs go up from Nick Panetta.
I'd say that, Ben, I know you can't think about it too much after things happen, but that free kick's an opportunity to get the ball into the penalty box. And, I mean, get something, because Olympic haven't really looked that threatening thus far. And that was an opportunity to get the ball in there, cause a little bit of grief for the Gold Coast Knights defenders and goalkeeper, but just such a poor ball, poorly executed. He just got over the first defender, but just basically dropped on the edge of the box.
Just looking a little bit out of it at the moment, Olympic.
Yeah,
not quite at the races, just at the moment.
They're still trying to figure out what their system is or the style is at the moment. That's what I'm saying. They're doing a lot of chasing, but there doesn't seem to be much happening when they actually get the ball. They don't really know what they're doing yet. I'm sure they've got plenty of time to work at it.
Only early doors, plenty of time for Olympic to come back from this 1-goal deficit. Schmidt sends one towards the back stick. Mundy there, the man for Olympic. There's still not out of danger here. Nichols, once again, Olympic defender comes into his own in Glover. Bit of a sustained attack here from the Knights. Sam Smith plays it through on the left foot, away by Mundy. Lucas, he's pretty much isolated.
Yeah, he's on his own there.
Once again, a great win from Matt Schmidt there to stop any forward progress for the Yeronga base side. Nichols.
He comes so deep to collect the ball, it's amazing. He just comes, settles things down, picks it up.
Just the 1 goal this season for Mitch Nichols as Kyle arrives on the scene, couldn't direct the right angle. Cubaneo on the goal line scoops it up. Hard to say it's not a quick game, very fast tempo.
Great tempo. I can tell. I'll just wait till that comes through.
And it's Saros claims of a corner from the Olympic players, but goal kick will be the result.
Yeah. He's done excellent there. It's just, again, probably just overrun it just a tiny bit there. It's actually the pressure from the defender, actually. Very good work by the defender. Just coming back to Gold Coast when they get the ball. Once they get beyond the halfway line, they're thinking straight away, can they switch the ball diagonally or can they get in behind Olympic as quick as they can? So direct and always trying to cause problems for the... I'd go as far as to say the young Olympic defence. That's what they're trying to cause them problems. They're not allowing them to settle at all, so they think they just bombard them with crosses or balls in behind them, causing them these sort of problems. And I'd say that the Olympic defence is struggling a little bit with that at the moment. See what they do here. He's got it here.
There's plenty of room for Smith to operate in there and just basically walk it into the attacking half.
Yeah,
Nichols floats one high. Too high even for Sam Smith, but the flag had gone up for offside anyway.
Yeah, so see they get to areas and they're just playing that ball and just being direct, and again causing as much confusion in the Olympic defence as they possibly can. Not give them any time to settle at all.
Well, Brisbane Roar memberships are on sale now. Get exclusive access to all areas of Queensland's only Hyundai A-League side by becoming a member today. Secure your membership for the upcoming 2019-20 season by visiting raw.memberlink.net.au. Dylan. Olympic really hanging off here now. They sense that they should place a bit of pressure on the Knights. Lazem. Mundy. Ito. Lofthouse comes to it. to go and forced in the wrong direction.
He's got to come back so deep to pick up the ball now.
Flex away from Schmidt. Lofthouse still in the contest though, but Nichols sends Kyle on his merry way. Just a fraction
ball.
over hit.
So they're noticing that one-on-one over the top. They're trying to exploit the space.
Approaching the midway point of the first half. If you've just joined us, Nick Panetta in the 9th minute with the Gold Coast Knights ahead. As Mundy looks to bring it into the attacking half this time of Olympic. Says no, we won't be going that way. We'll go all the way back to our keeper, Cumineo. Canito conjure up here on the left wing. Mundy. Switch of play for Deus. Turns it over immediately to Nichols. Panetta. Couldn't quite get the communication right there with Nichols. A slide ball through from White for Lucas. Deus is steaming forward. Lucas cuts back, trying to pick out Deus. Can White keep it alive? Great work from Nichols to link up with Panetta. Fraction too far for ground to reel in, and Cumineo comes out of his area, but Ito gets to the ball first.
Again, coming back to it, sorry to keep repeating myself, Rafe, and the viewers and listeners, that Gold Coast so direct. They get the ball and they immediately think, can we get as far forward as we can, as early as we can, just turn Olympic around. And Olympic, when they get the ball, are struggling to get from the back to the front themselves because they don't have that link. And Alex Smith, who's normally there, that 10 that plays between the lines, he can pick that ball up. There's nobody there to do it. I know they've got Shelford there at the moment trying to do it, but he's not picking it up the way that you would normally like it to happen and then dictate play.
So if you're the Olympic coach, Ben Kahn, is there anything you can do to try and fix this?
I'm thinking exactly. I'm thinking on how they're going to do it. Is it a case of do we change with formation? Do we even go with 5 in midfield and play with Chris up there on his own? You know what I mean? But when we get the ball, actually, rather than going direct to Chris straight away, can we come through the midfield and then find Chris either one-on-one, or can we use Chris as a link man to actually drop the ball back to the midfielders who'll actually be there? But they just, see, there you go, there's another case in point. They've had it for 2-3 passes and lost it straight away.
Maybe Lofthouse, the magic of him. Olympic supporters go up trying to convince the referee that it was a penalty. Lofthouse immediately straight back up to his feet though. Nothing to talk about there, Martin?
It's part of the game. Play on. I wish I was a referee.
I've seen you referee a game once. I'm not so sure about that. Everything was play on in your game. Meanwhile, here's Deus.
Great.
Lofthouse once again dispossessed. Gold Coast Knights defence to the fore. Ito. Oh, Ito goes over. And once again, the referee kicks his whistle by the side. And meanwhile, Cole's now one-on-one. Oh, just overhit it there for himself. Mundy, great work from him. Now,
you could see that coming there off the ball incident.
I was just about to say, the red mist was about to descend on Kyle as the Knights look for a second. Cumineo immediately blowing up the referee. There's a number of players around the referee at the moment going back to, what about that earlier incident with Ito? But Sam Smith had a golden opportunity there to double the lead for the Knights.
Was that Kyle and Mundy that had the little off the ball incident as well? You could see that Matt slowed down a little bit, anticipating the contact.
What do you think of that one, folks? Steve White certainly voicing his opinion, the Olympic skipper. Bit of a flashpoint in this grand final.
You know what? I don't actually think that's a bad thing for Olympic. I think it might stir them up a little bit, to be honest with you. I've just thought your comment that you asked earlier on about what Olympic need to do. I think they don't need to go so direct so quickly. I actually think they actually need to keep the ball a little bit. Just get a little bit of time on the ball. Knights are putting them under so much pressure. They're forcing them to play long. They're forcing them to make mistakes. They're forcing them to make passes they don't want to make. They're just putting them under so much pressure. So there it is again, look. Pressing.
Robert Latanzi watching on from Sydney, supporting Olympic. Great to have you watching in tonight, Robert. Plenty of Knights supporters out there. Plenty commenting that Alex Smith at best. Big loss out there for Olympic. Once again, we take a shot of the Olympic active support. Yeah. I think there is a couple of familiar people to you on there, Martin.
I've just noticed my son Ryan and my daughter Shannon.
Or Shandogs, as you've become to know,
Shandogs, as we like to call it, yeah.
Deus first to that one. Diving in.
Knights are just so aggressive on the ball. They press.
Pito. Picks out Lofthouse. Not a lot of room for Lofthouse to operate in. And once again, that Gold Coast Knights defence just repelling anything that Olympic are throwing at them at the moment.
Jez is very good on a one-on-one. Given the space and given the time, he'll take you on. But if there's pressure on him, just like happened there, he sort of stopped the ball and gave the defender the opportunity to pinch the ball. Needs to keep the ball moving.
And another shot towards target. This time Kimineo gets down to his left to stop the shot of Max Brown. On the replay, Brown. There's another player in there, Kyle, I think, from Olympic, who was looking to get a touch on it.
There's a yellow card.
Second one of the evening.
Just coming back to that one there before that, I mentioned before about Matt Mundy and just being bandaged up centrally. He got turned quite easily there. That's where the shot came from. He got turned quite easily, and I think Ben's got to be careful of that sort of stuff. Centrally, if they get turned so easily, it's going to create easy opportunities for them to have shots on goal. You know what I mean? So, or maybe one of the centre backs has to commit and maybe give Matt a little bit of cover there when that ball's coming in.
Some of the junior Olympic players cheering their team on there.
Great to see.
Goal scorer for Gold Coast Knights, Nick Panetta, now goes into the referee's notebook after that earlier challenge to stop Lucas in his tracks.
Good to see Nicholas on the stage again, by the way, because he's had a tough couple of years. He's a junior Australian player, and obviously from Cairns, but came down here and was part of the QAS and then was the AIS, and as I said, played for Australia. But I think, if I remember right, he either snapped his Achilles or done his cruciate. He had a horrible injury, and played down in Melbourne for a couple of years and sort of went through a rough patch, but it's good to see him back playing and playing well. I'm happy for him. Good kid and a very good family as well.
You saw him coming up through Cairns, did you?
Yeah, really good player, very good player. He was part of our original Centre of Excellence programme that was in Cairns.
Of course, Martin Doherty, native Far North Queenslander, despite the accent, led the Far North Queensland Heat to the 2014 NPL Queensland Final Series, where I don't want to relive it, Martin, but you were knocked out by Olympic that night.
Yeah.
In the best ever game I've seen in the NPL in its 7-year history.
It's funny you say that. I just got out of bed and kicked myself about that game again this morning. So let's see what can happen here.
White.
Olympic just need to. I'm not so sure that's the ball that they want to be playing. I'm not so sure that's the ball they want to be playing. You look at the height of the Knights there at the back, you know what I mean? That's not the ball that they want to be playing, and I'm sure Ben will be kicking, be sort of saying to the players, just take a touch, take a little bit of time, a little bit more composure, and start moving the big Gold Coast boys around. Don't make it so easy for them.
Half an hour played. The Knights with that slender lead in this 2019 NPL Queensland Grand Final. What do you reckon, Martin? About 2,500
great
here, maybe?
crowd. It's funny you say that. I was thinking of that before because obviously we're watching it on the screen, but it's very well supported by both supporters, and hopefully a number of other NPL clubs have come and watched the game as well, because we saw a lot of people on the way in. It's good to see. And it's a great venue as well. Great viewing venue.
Yeah, it took us a couple of hours to make our way from the clubhouse, saying hello to everyone as we were walking along. But you know it's a good night when you can see people on the hill spectating.
It's brilliant. Great night for it.
Takes me back to the early days of Brisbane United and Brisbane Strikers in the National Soccer League, the early 90s. Deus and ineffective there.
Just that area there, that ball is exactly where Alex Smith would pick the ball up and bring others into play, or do something himself. You know what I mean? The X factor. He would do something. So again, you see Jez is central here. He's doing a lot of work. And it's without the ball. Jez is better with the ball.
No rush here, the Knights. Dillon confronted by Lofthouse. Hoffman. Dillon once more.
They've got that, and then they go direct. It's amazing.
So corner here for the Gold Coast Knights.
They're very effective when they get the head up and look forward. The Knights, they just think of playing the longest ball possible.
So we've got a ball out of commission. Nichols presents the option short for the Knights. Instead, it's punched away by Cumineo. Might be a secondary corner here for the Knights. Nice touch off Shelley Deus.
How old's Mitch Nichols?
Oh, that's a very good question, Martin. You always like asking the...
I like the questions. Seems like he's been around for such a long time.
How about we go to the all-answering familiar website that we go to search? 30.
He's only 30. He's got plenty of time.
1st of May 1989. Do you think he's still got some
got
time potentially back in the A-League?
I'm not so sure about the A-League, and with all due respect to Mitch, I would like to think it would go to a younger player rather than a Mitch Nichols who's been around. Sorry.
And here is Nichols. Panetta. And free kick spotted by the referee.
Yeah, so just coming back to that, I reckon he's got a lot to offer the NPL in Queensland. And I think a lot of players, and I do speak to a lot of players, they actually enjoy the fact they're playing against ex-A-League players around, and having Matt Smith in the competition is another really good thing. I would hope they don't go back to the A-League and leave it to the younger brigade now, and hopefully move off the recycling plant and get some new blood into the A-League.
So score coming through from the NPLW semi-final played out at Terrelba Park. The Gap went ahead with the early goal, but Moreton Bay have fought back for a 2-1 win over the Gap, so that sends the Jets into next week's grand final against Lions, who had a very nervy win in penalties last night against Gold Coast United. So the football doesn't stop. We've got the NPLW grand final next weekend. It'll be Lions versus Moreton Bay, the top two teams in that competition.
Teams 1 and 2, yeah, that's excellent. That's a good representation of the standard of the competition. That the team that finished 1 and 2 play the grand final, and the NPLW has been a fantastic competition this year by all accounts as well. Really good competition.
Of course, that'll be brought to you by Football Queensland next weekend, next Saturday night, I believe. Plenty of cheers going up Steaming onto it was Brown. Kimoneo forced out of his area. And still those Gold Coast Knights supporters go up on the far side.
So again on that side there, Rafe, that's a coach killer. There's a corner kick, there's a chance to get the ball into the right area, and they're basically giving it away. There's another yellow card. You can almost see a red card coming here. Unbelievable. So we're only 36 minutes into it, and 3 yellow cards for Gold Coast Knights.
Jared Kyle, the latest to receive a caution. So the NPLW Grand Final next Saturday night, 6 p.m. at Lions Stadium. Bumper weekend of football next weekend at Lions Stadium. Of course, the National NPL Championships kick off next weekend with Lions hosting South Australia's Campbelltown, who won their Grand Final yesterday. It's a rematch of last year's National Grand Final, 1 p.m. next Sunday at Lions for that one. Get along. Take the sleeping bag, maybe sleep over Saturday night and hang around for Sunday.
Couldn't think of anything better. That's it. I've got my sleeping bag in the car.
Someone I know almost had to do that at a certain venue last night.
That's it. Things we do for football. Campbelltown have been unbelievable over the past couple of years in South Australia. Incredible. Is that Phil Stubbins?
No, Joe Mullen.
Joe Mullen, is it? All right, they've done unbelievable, incredible time of it.
Saros looks to have switched sides here, Martin.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Maybe they're just going to allow Lofthouse to play a little less centrally.
Yeah, I just see that Olympic have had no quality possession. That's basically cruelled them thus far. And when they do get it, they're under so much pressure. Knights are putting them under so much pressure they can't actually build anything.
Is that a Spartan or a Gladiator there, Martin?
It looks like a Spartan there. Greeks were part of Spartans.
I think they were the Spartans. Yeah, maybe the Italians were the Gladiators. Apologies if I've offended anyone. I'll have to brush up on my history.
The history, that's it.
White. Been held pretty quiet so far. Can be influential, the Olympic skipper. Lazem. Deus. Brown with the hassle. Good enough to win the ball back. Referee is playing advantage.
Yeah, yellow card there. So just that there where Jez was. Jez was standing in front, basically out of the play. And he's looking for the pass. There he is there. He's looking for the pass. Can I go wide? Can't play wide because look what Jez is. Basically, just the position that he's playing is not actually. I don't think it's helping Olympic at the moment, personally. You need to get him in his preferred position, get him in wide areas we can attack people, cause some damage.
So Nathan McDonald being kept busy. 4th yellow card, the first for Olympic. Shelford Deus, the man booked.
I think that was more through frustration than it was anything else. There was no maliciousness in it.
So Dillon's free kick. Smith. Schmitz. Panetta. Nichols. Lazem now for Olympic. White. Just around about 5 minutes to the half-time break. Can Olympic try and find an equaliser? Doesn't look to be coming anytime soon for them, unfortunately, Martin.
No, I just think they're just playing that wrong. Again, they've won the ball. Great area, they've won the ball. All it needs is a player. And again, it could have been Chris Lucas. Just back to goal. Just play the ball into him. And that will bring others into play rather than trying to play the ball over the top. It goes far as to say that Gold Coast Knights are a tad too smart for that, to be caught with the ball over the top.
Well, the outdoor football season is almost over, but that doesn't mean you have to stop playing. Futsal is perfect for keeping fit and improving your technical skills come the season's end. Keep your outdoor team together and play futsal during the off-season. Visit playfutsalqld.com.au to find out more. down the line for White, who tries to twist and turn. Couldn't quite get the footwork right.
Mitch Nichols looked like he's gone down there.
Yeah, he has indeed. So, Knight's physio will be on here momentarily. Just clutching at his calf, is it? There's what they're playing for tonight. The grand final trophy on display. You might be right, Martin. It might be that left hamstring.
Yeah. He literally just kicked the ball out there.
Physio trying to work on that area. He's going to limp to the sideline. Will that be Mitch Nichols' night done?
Hamstring's never a good sign.
That's Gray Pittick, physio himself. To just assess it. He's clutching at that left hamstring, Mitch Nichols, but he's limping back onto the field. That'll be one to keep an eye on in the next 3 minutes or so of this first half.
Really comfortable.
No, he doesn't, does he? He's limping around quite noticeably. If he gets into full stretch very shortly, we'll see exactly where his true colours are. He's just hobbling at best at the moment. Anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. White trying to thread it through for Lofthouse. On his way is Panetta. He's beaten two defenders.
Too easy.
So exciting on the ball is Nick Panetta. And then equally good work from Glover.
And what you would be doing, you'd be getting Jez Lofthouse on the right-hand side, and rather than going to the left-hand side, go to the right-hand side where Mitch is absolutely struggling. He's gone. Again, can we switch it here? Can we come down the right-hand side, get Jez out here? Look, there he is. Struggling.
Dias might be about to test him. Mundy. Lofthouse left it in search of trying to play it for his own advantage. Kyle's the man that was the target up front. And that certainly tested Mitch Nichols there, who's at full stretch there. And Max Brown looked up once, spotted Kyle, and he just, well, on first inspection, didn't quite get...
It's a tactic that they've used the whole game. You know what I mean? The whole first half. Every time they get the ball, can they go forward, diagonal or straight? They don't really care what sort of ball, as long as it's a long ball forward. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, because it's a directed pass that they're actually playing. But they're so switched on to trying to exploit the space behind.
Ben Kahn voices his displeasure over something to the fourth official, Anton Shetland. We're about to get an indication of how much stoppage time.
He may have just been told that there's only a minute or something like that. He may be kicking himself. Crank it, there's not a bit more time. Let's see what they come up with.
Panetta. Left by Brown. There will be 2 minutes of time added on.
That may be why Ben was a little bit angry, because there's been a few stoppages there.
4 yellow cards and a goal, and that injury to Mitch Nichols. Matt Smith. Schmidt.
So you'll notice now that Gold Coast are just like they take the sting out of the game. There's no space behind.
Cumineo. Dying embers of this first half playing out. Maybe there still is time though for Olympic to go to the sheds on equal footing. Chris Lucas and Jeff Lofthouse certainly think there could be. They're going to keep trying Olympic right to the end though. Ito. White. Dias. again. Flick through for Lucas, cut out by Schmidt. Gold Coast Knights players looking for a foul. Once again, referee trying to keep the game open as much as possible.
Trouble.
It is indeed Pineda once again, and good anticipation from Matt Mundy.
Well, there goes that thought that I was thinking that Matt Mundy had lost a little bit of pace with that bandaged up knee, yeah?
What would you know, Martin? Now, all sorts of pointing going on. There's an Olympic player down. And
both coaches are into it.
Plenty of anger going into this and plenty of chat. So it's Steve White, the man laying on the ground. You can hear the chants of the Olympic supporters. And Nathan McDonald has a situation to deal with right on the stroke of half time.
You think the fourth official saw it?
Happened right in front of Anton Chittenden. He's going to come over and have a chat. He can, as a fourth official, make a recommendation to the referee. Plenty of chat between referee and the fourth official. This could be an interesting outcome here. And it's going to the pocket. And that is the second yellow card. And Jared Kyle reduces Gold Coast Knights to 10 men on the stroke of half time.
I think I did say we would get a send-off, did I?
Jared Kyle, just a rash challenge when really nothing doing.
No need for it whatsoever.
Ray Piddick observing the situation. Ben Kahn now coming over and showing some concern for his player. Tap at the back by Ben Kahn on Ray Piddick. Anton Chittenden says, Ben, can you go back to your technical area, please? Well, that's a very interesting turn of events. Gold Coast Knights for the second 45. They're going to have to do it a man short. As good news for Steve White, he's back to his feet. All those three yellow cards in the goal for the Gold Coast Knights. They've still got a couple of players now just treading that fine line, and they wouldn't want to take a step too far now with Jared Kyle having been given his marching orders.
Well, I think the referee laid out his marker very, very early in the game. I think it was 10 minutes, just about that the first yellow card, so he sort of said that he wasn't going to take any of it. And Gold Coast Knights are very physical in how they go about it.
Interesting face in the crowd tonight. Robbie Fowler watching on.
Oh, right, okay.
Might be spotting a bit of NPL Queensland talent as referee Nathan McDonald brings an end to the first 45 minutes. Well, the early goal to Nick Pineda inside the first 10 minutes gave the Gold Coast Knights the lead. Olympic been trying hard but haven't been able to find that equaliser. But with Jared Kyle being reduced, the Gold Coast Knights to 10 men right on the stroke of half-time, it sets up a very interesting half-time break. At half-time here at Perry Park, it's the Gold Coast Knights 1 who lead Olympic 0. Martin, do you want to give us your thoughts on the first half?
It's funny, just prior to the send-off, I was thinking, this might sound really strange, I actually was thinking that Ben Kahn will probably be the happier of the two because they're only 1-0 down. So, but I think he'll be even happier now that they're down to 10 men as well. So, Gray, I don't know that I don't think he'll change very much. I still think he'll stay actually direct with his style of play. But Olympic having that extra man, that might be one of the defenders who'll push into the middle of midfield, create that numerical advantage, and hopefully get that little bit of control that they haven't had, and possession control that is. You know what I mean? So. And hopefully that will allow them. I would suggest that they actually change Jesloff House onto a flanker as well, and I think they'll get a little bit more joy that way. Okay.
Well, some interesting half-time chats ahead for both coaches. The Knights lead Olympic 1-0.
When you get to your 70s, you want to still keep moving, and that's the whole idea. And then with this sport, you get your aerobics because you're walking, and people think walking. Well, you can see behind me we're getting a workout. Of course, the accent here is on passing, so you've got to use a bit of brain power as well, and it improves your balance because you're standing and you're over the ball. I'd highly recommend it. I mean, I can't wait to get here each week.
We swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
To the Brisbane Roar family, I'm proud to be on board for the 2019-20 Hyundai A-League season. I'm excited to be here in Brisbane and for the challenge that lies ahead. So why don't you secure your membership right now, and let's make sure we all roar as one.
Well, what drama to end the first half here of the National Premier League's Queensland Grand Final. Gold Coast Knights leading Olympic by 1-0, but that red card could change everything. James Coughlin, Simon Smale up here doing the half-time analysis. And James, an interesting start for Gold Coast Knights, and they got that early goal.
Yeah, it was a tactical win for Grey Pittock. They really crowded out Olympic in the space, tried to make them play for space that just isn't there, and we'll have to see what that red card does for the second half.
We'll have a look at that goal now. It was a wonderful move. Nick Panetta, in sensational form, just managed to break down the left, got in behind the left back for Shelford Dias, who looks like he's suffering from a bit of an injury actually. His knee's heavily strapped. And it was a fine finish.
Very composed finish as well. Settled the nerves early in the grand final, and then Sam Smith came over the bar. It was a really good chance as well, but put under pressure just enough by the Olympic defence.
There were a couple of chances for Gold Coast Knights. Olympic just struggling with that final ball in the final third. They couldn't quite measure their passes and getting to the byline on a couple of occasions, perhaps not used to the way that this Perry Park pitch is flying along. It is a good true surface and the ball is zipping around quite nicely, considering the fact we've already had 3 games of football on here today.
Yeah, it's certainly playing really well. No major dramas with the surface. I think both teams can be happy with what Perry Park has dished up for them tonight.
Right, James, let's talk about this red card. It's Jared Kyle. He has been known to be a slightly combustible character. He's known for putting in those physical challenges. Gold Coast Knights are a physical side. Look at the size of them compared to Olympic. Olympic playing a lightweight game against heavyweights. Jared Kyle was late. I think we can agree with that. What do you think the discussion was between the referee and his 4th official?
My interpretation of it is it would have been a discussion of should it have been a straight red, which I think would have been harsh, but that was a clear second yellow. Jared Kyle can't have any real complaints about that. He was late and managed to catch Steve White on the ankle.
It's disappointing in the context of the grand final, and it's disappointing in the context of the match. But Jared Kyle has form for this. Jared Kyle, I think, gets away with a few of these over the course of the season. It's a fine line, isn't it? You want to play a tough game, you want to play a hard game. We saw a similar challenge early in the first half with Sam Smith going in very, very hard. And it's one of those situations. He earned a yellow card for that one. That's what happens in these matches, in these yellow cards, and you do run that line if you're going to do it after you've been cautioned.
Exactly. If you build your team to play physically, that's what's going to happen. You're going to wind up with these situations where you've got the debates on how many yellow cards should be dished out, and yeah, it's just a case of Jared Kyle made took one too many chances in the end there, and I suppose it's cost them. But if you are Gold Coast Knights, you're defending a 1-0 lead. The striker is probably the player that you could afford to lose the most. Someone, obviously you don't want to go down to 10 players, but you know, at least it wasn't the case of, you know, Matt Smith going off and having to try and reshuffle that entire defence. Now they can close up shop for the second half, and we're going to have to see how Olympic can try and create some space in what should be an even more compact defence in the second half.
I'm glad you mentioned Matt Smith, because he has just been in sensational form in that first half. He really does want to, he manages the play so well, he positions himself so well, and I think Olympic are going to have it very up against it to get that equalising goal. But they are going against 10 men. After these messages, we'll be back for Perry Park for the second half of National Premier League's Queensland Grand Final.
To the Brisbane Roar family, I'm proud to be on board for the 2019-20 Hyundai A-League season. I'm excited to be here in Brisbane and for the challenge that lies ahead. So why don't you secure your membership right now, and let's make sure we all roar as one.
When you get to your 70s, you want to still keep moving, and that's the whole idea. And then with this sport, you get your aerobics, because you're walking, and people think walking. Well, you can see behind me we're getting a workout. Of course, the accent here is on passing, so you know you've got to use a bit of brain power as well, and it improves your balance because you're standing and you're over the ball. I'd highly recommend it. I mean, I can't wait to get here each week.
What's next? Summer football. How do we get more people involved? That's a tough one.
Tough one? Oh, come on. I'll tell you. The beauty of this summer football is you don't have to do any of this fitness. You know, you just get in and play. Come on. What are you doing, lads? You know, the beauty of summer football is you don't need a team to play. You can just rock up and join in the fun. Oh! And the beauty of summer football is it's just fun. No one takes it too seriously. Summer football, inexpensive they say. Well, they're not wrong. I saved my pennies playing summer football so I could look like this. You can too.
Can we please for somebody else?
And welcome back to Perry Park. Second half action in the NPL Queensland 2019 Grand Final. Gold Coast Knights have emerged from the sheds. There's the goal scorer, Nick Panetta. He's the man responsible for putting the Gold Coast Knights out to the 1-0 lead. Still waiting Olympic to emerge from their dressing sheds, and Nathan McDonald, the referee, had an interesting decision to make right on the stroke of half-time. Jared Kyle sent off for a second yellow card for the Gold Coast Knights. Mitch Nichols clenching at a bit of a hamstring. What would Gray Pittock have said in the sheds at half-time, Martin, to try and address the numerical deficit that he'll have for his side in the second half?
No, obviously they're going to miss. He was a central striker. He was up there. Basically, they're going to miss that the target up front. But I have a funny feeling that Gray's a wily old character. He knows the game, so they'd have actually worked on playing with 10 men, I reckon. It wouldn't surprise me one single bit. I still think they'll go direct. I think they'll use the width more so central this time because they don't have that number 9, and I think he'll go with 3 at the back and probably 4 in the front and maybe 1 up top. 4 in the middle, and 1 up top. I don't think he'll panic Gray, but I think the pressure, to be honest with you, now is basically on Olympic. They've got to come out and do something different now.
So we've got a change here for Olympic. It'll be James Cumaneo coming on in 29. Who's he going to replace?
The one that get injured in the foul, do you reckon?
It could, maybe it is Steve White. We're about to find out as Olympic just in their final huddle. And it's Danny Driver, the man replaced.
Danny Driver, all right.
So his shift is done after 45 minutes. Martin, I'm going to set you a bit of homework.
Yep.
With that send-off for the Knights. Just keep an eye on their formation in the first 5 minutes.
Yep.
Report back any changes.
Yeah.
And any adjustments Olympic might have made.
Yeah, we just had a chat about that. So I'm looking at the way Olympic are setting up right now. They've got 3 already there, so it looks like there's not much change. So it might be a midfield change for them.
And we just heard at half time that Olympic coach Ben Kahn has been having a bit of a go at his striker Chris Lucas.
Yeah.
So some interesting dynamics out there as we enter the second half. Never a dull moment in the grand final.
Direct diagonal ball straight away. So.
Thank you, Leo. Great to have your company this evening. And my man from the NPL, Jamie Carroll, watching in.
Good old Jamie. Hi, Jamie. Hope you're well.
Former coach with me in commentary this evening. And here is the first touch for James Cumaneo coming on as a substitute at half-time.
Well, it looks like straight away you can see that Gold Coast Knights have gone with 2 banks of 4 and 1 up top. So they got 1-4-4-1.
That's forced a bit of a switch with Ito going more centrally in defence, allowing Cumaneo to play on that left-back position.
I'm just looking to see if there's any huge change from Olympic, because as I said before, they're the ones that have to change. They're the ones that have to do something a little bit different now. They're the ones chasing the game. I know it's still 45 minutes, but they've got to do something different.
Kristen Waters is doing some stretches just behind the substitutes bench. Maybe he's just being kept warm in case of a contingency. Maybe there's a concern with one of the defenders in the Olympic backline.
Vacant space centrally. Amazing. Oh dear.
Olympic able to recover courtesy of Lazem. Diaz goes sliding in. Which way is that decision going? It'll go the Knights' way. Olympic supporters starting to find their voice again in the second half.
I'm thinking Ben at halftime would have spoke about the lack of possession, the lack of quality possession, the Olympics that is. I'm sure he'd have spoke about that when we get the ball, can we look at retaining it for at least 2 or 3 passes and try and create something. So let's see what they do here now that they've got the ball.
Lofthouse.
So
Saros.
He's definitely been pushed out to the left side.
Kimineo. James Kimineo that was. Lofthouse. Ito's presenting himself. Quick 1-2. Nichols bundles into the back of the Japanese. Nothing enough to elicit the whistle of Nathan McDonald. As you can see, a good crowd up on the hill watching on. Gold Coast Knights custodian Josh Langdon. Ito and Brown it was in that contest. Sam Smith is going to put some pressure on Dayes, gets it away cleanly. Lucas might have got a touch on that. As the Knights come all the way back to their keeper again in Langdon.
So you look at the way that the Knights are setting up now. They've got their four at the back. There's a diagonal ball forward, and it's just going to be second ball material for them. They're the ones in front, and Olympic are the ones that are. They got, as I said before, they're the ones that got to do something different. They're the ones that got to chase the game.
James Kimineo. Saros. Olympic looking for their second grand final win in the NPL Queensland. They won the inaugural version back in 2013 on penalties. 2-0 down against Brisbane City. After 70 minutes, forced to extra time. And then on to penalties. The Olympic stalwart, Danny Byrne, providing the winning kick that night on penalties. Lost in 2014 to Palm Beach as they were then, and couldn't get it done last year against Lions in that brilliant match last year. So fourth attempt for Olympic, and looking for a second win. Of course, the Gold Coast Knights, what a year they've had. Their first season in the NPL Queensland. They're almost over and out in the Gold Coast competitions, football Gold Coast competitions. Relegated all the way down to League One before a revival in the last couple of years. Successive promotions. And then the step up from the Gold Coast Premier League last year to the NPL this year. They can cap it off with the grand final victory in their first season.
That's amazing.
They'll be able to repeat the feat that Lions achieved last year.
Yeah.
There's his Saros towards the near post. Lofthouse in search. Ito once again tried to play that 1-2 for Lofthouse, and there's a little bit of afters there.
Needless as well. It's just a poor first touch from Ito. Not very often you'd ever say that, but
Nichols might have been milking that a little bit more than what there was there.
Was that a little nibble in the ear from the referee saying, get up or I'm going to book you for diving?
It's a little bit there.
Yeah.
And then basically got tangled players, all innocent.
Looked like one of his own players. He get tangled with at the same time. So I think maybe the referee just reminded him it was actually one of your own players that's just kicked you, Mitch.
Of course, with 10 men, Gold Coast Knights will do everything to try and slow down the clock as much as they can. Hasn't affected them so far. Lofthouse. Saros just wrong foots himself. White showing no ill effects of that challenge that he caught from Jared Cole on the half-time break. So have you noticed anything different out there for the Gold Coast Knights?
No, there's not. Well, other than the fact, as I just mentioned before, it's a goalkeeper and two banks of four with Sam Smith up front. There he is. They're just coming back, and his job will be as soon as Olympic get the ball, get behind. So we've effectively got 10 behind the ball, and when Gold Coast get it, get yourself forward, and we'll try and find you as a target. I'm more, to be honest with you, looking at what Olympic are doing. They're moving the ball a little bit quicker, which they seem to be doing now, and using this left flank a lot more. Still think it should be Jez Lofthouse there and not Saros.
It's Lazem for the time being. Sprinting down that right touchline.
There's no space in behind there.
Now the Gold Coast Knights on the counter. Supporters go up. Sam Smith. Fronted by Glover. Attempting that corner.
Look at the lack of numbers from the Knights in the penalty box there. There's only 2 up top there. The rest of them are just camped behind the ball.
Ball comes to naught for the Knights. Poked away by Walker. Glover.
I think Olympic are just feeling the way into the second half, to be honest with you. They're not rushing themselves just yet.
They're allowed an easy advance in their forward half. Ito. Still going Ito. Then the Gold Coast Knights converge on him. Lazem. Just really content for Olympic to make it to that final third.
That's what I'm saying.
Edge
so
of that, and then
they'll
close them down.
Yeah, they'll press from there. So it's almost like it's called like a semi-press, where you just basically let them come in and force them to areas where you can actually pinch the ball, because it's so congested, the area, that the pass of the ball's got to be a great ball to be able to cut them in it. And Gold Coast have got so much experience in there that they're not going to fall for it at the moment. I'd say that Olympic, if they're going to catch them, they're going to catch them on the counter. That's how they're going to get them, but I'm not so sure that Gold Coast Knights are going to commit in big numbers. They've already set the stall out now. You can just see it. 2 banks of 4.
James Cumineo perhaps deciding that lofting one up was the best way of trying to get behind the Gold Coast Knights defence. Chris Lucas has infringed here. Leaving free kick to the Knights as we see Cumineo's ball into the area. And then Lucas, no eyes for the ball whatsoever, just to take out Oscar Dillon.
Again, just saying that, you look at, not with all due respect to Chris Lucas, that's not really the ball that he's going to cause any damage with, you know what I mean? Tristan is, to get the best out of him, the ball's got to be on the ground and it's got to be into space, and he'll beat anybody one-on-one.
About to make a change, the diminutive striker Chris Lucas. Looks like Kristen Waters about to come on for Olympic.
What you thinking, Matt Mundy?
It's a logical conclusion, but whether it's Mundy suffering the ill effects of... I was just curious that Waters had been warming up basically from the start of that second half as a contingency, as I said before. Let's see if our prediction comes through. And
it could even be a change in formation for Olympic as well, you know what I mean? Because he plays centrally, doesn't he? Normally central, so possibly. I mean, you look at it and you think the Olympic need 4 at the back when Gold Coast are only playing 1 up top.
So Dillon sends this ball forward. Glover forced to get a touch on it.
Yeah, just there was enough pressure coming in. I think that was Nicholas. It was Nicholas Panetta. 2 Cairns boys together, Jack Glover and Nicholas Panetta, and there was enough pressure from him.
Get all the plugs in while you can.
Yeah, might as well. Another good boy, Jack Glover. He's hung out last year. He done really, really well. We never got it. He got little or no game time at Olympic last year, but Ben and the coaching staff really looked after him, and I'm so happy for him as well that he's a really good run this year.
Floated away from this corner. Free kick spotted by the referee.
So just moving the ball a little bit quicker now, Olympic. What we really want them to do is move the Gold Coast defenders from side to side, get them working hard. That's too easy.
Lofthouse has been denied his creativity this evening.
It's just too easy.
Hands of Brandon Cumineo. Releases Lazem very quickly.
What they want to do now is they want to make that numerical advantage work for them. Stretch the field, make it as wide as they can and as big as they can. Use the width. Just that little thing there, it's amazing. It's that gamesmanship that smart players do. He just picked up the ball, now that ball's flat, throw the ball away, waste a couple of seconds. It's amazing. I know we've got miles to go, but just waste a little bit of time.
A little bit here and there adds up at the end of the day.
All adds up. So look at how compact it is. You need to use the width. You've got to use the width. Look what Jez is at the moment.
James Kimineo slides past Saros. Langdon no pressure initially. Lucas will come in to force the Gloveman to pick up the ball.
It looks like that change is happening now. Ben Cairns had enough.
Very imminent. Christian Waters will make his entry. Won't be at this stoppage of play, it looks like. Here he is. Big substitute, Christian Waters on the screen. Now that change will be made. Not quite yet. We have to wait a few more moments.
I did mention that I didn't expect Gold Coast to do anything differently from the first half, and I'm not surprised. You know what I mean? They're quite content. Sit behind the ball when they get the ball. Can we go direct as early as we can? And a diagonal direct ball.
Here we go now. That change about to be made, and coming off will be Costa Saros. So it's a defender for an attacker, but you fancy there's about to be a change in formation.
There's going to be a change in formation. There's definitely going to be.
Maybe interesting to see. I'm not sure where he's played more up front.
I was going to say, do you think he's
the
been
height
up front? Yeah,
I think it's the height.
There you go. Yeah.
So keep an eye on that one. Usually defender Christian Waters, but he has bobbed up for goals in the past. Interesting change from Ben Kahn. Perhaps he sensed something there in the Gold Coast Knights defence.
Well, like we've said before, the number of the balls that have been going in there is for Chris Lucas, who's small in stature. But have you got?
He's definitely going to play up front, Christian Waters.
Yeah, because if you get Christian up there, that's actually not bad.
Playing as number 9, it looks like.
This is a game where you need to use width if we're going to get crosses in there. It's got to be a good cross. Maybe Chris gets the second ball if Christian doesn't score. Here we go.
James Kimineo. It's the left foot sliding in. Just wide of the target. Shelford Deus it was.
Almost on cue. We get the ball wide. We get a good ball into the area, and they get a head on it. So
yeah, a little bit of ingenuity there from Shelford Deus. Doesn't come rewarded that time round.
Should give Olympic a little bit of confidence there, a little bit of hope. They created a 2v1 on the outside, and they have been attacking that left-hand side more so than the right-hand side. So creating a 2v1, getting the ball into the right area, and as I just said before, if Christian doesn't get it, if they can get a rebound or a ricochet or something like that, second ball, there's an opportunity for a goal or another strike at goal.
The Brisbane Roar memberships are now on sale. Get exclusive access to all areas of Queensland's only Hyundai A-League side by becoming a member today. You can secure your membership for the upcoming season by visiting raw.memberlink.net.au. Exciting time for the Roar. Their kit launch yesterday. Robbie Fowler, of course, in charge, and a little bit of afters. Post-grand final. Very little challenge being hard fought. Referee Nathan McDonald's just going to have to keep a lid on things here. He's done a good job so far. Nichols, bit of gamesmanship, trying to play the quick free kick.
I'm letting you finish off there because Gold Coast are playing, actually Olympic are playing right into Gold Coast hands. They're doing everything that they want them to do. Oh, the little niggle stuff. This is perfect. Look at this. Look. He goes.
Nichols
He goes
went
in
down.
there. Yeah, there you go. There's really nothing in it. And then just that little huff and puff.
Uncharacteristic from Kazuya Ito.
Yeah, it's not really.
Brilliant angle that we can see Brandon Kimineo just judging his wall. There'll be 4 in it, it looks like, for Olympic.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Chris Lucas, who's on the other side of the wall, the bottom of it,
Oscar
and
Dillon.
you look at the space there.
Oscar Dillon lining up the free kick. It's incoming. Oh, and he's scored! Fantastic free kick from Oscar Dillon to double the advantage of the Gold Coast Knights. They race over to their supporters. The Knights are 2 ahead, courtesy of a wonderful free kick taken by Oscar Dillon.
Unbelievable. I did say that Chris Lucas on the right hand side of the wall, it looked like Brendan had left too much space there, and Oscar's absolutely nailed it. What a tremendous strike. Get it up and over the wall and in the net at the same time. Great goal, great stage to score a goal like that as well. Brilliant. And obviously goes over and does the right thing and celebrates with his supporters, as does every other Knights player.
Here it is, Martin. Talk us through it.
There you go. You know what I mean? I do think that the wall was set up incorrectly. I just don't think he had the right players in the wall. You know what I mean? He actually had the small going to the right hand side. Should have had it the opposite way. But I'm no goalkeeper. But I'm just saying that I think the wall was set up incorrectly there. But that's not taken away from the strike. It's a great strike. Great strike. And,
even our producer got excited by that goal.
Yeah. He's just taken off his Olympic t-shirt and put on his Gold Coast Knights shirt.
So 25 minutes to play, and despite being down to 10, it's the Gold Coast Knights with the ascendancy. Just look like they've got no answers at the moment.
Nah, that's something. I wouldn't say that they had a lot of ideas to begin with, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, but I think Olympic have actually played into Gold Coast hands, to be honest with you.
And having white shirts plus the keeper behind the ball.
Yeah.
Ray Piddick has gone very defensive, as you'd expect.
Yeah. And that's when you hope that you get something from a set play, you know what I mean? And that little bit of that fracas that was in the middle that wasn't needed, that was exactly what Gold Coast were looking for, and got the free kick and got the goal.
Right at the target. Olympic, as you'd expect, still fighting to the valiant end.
Some noise coming from the Knights supporters. It's great. Olympic supporters are still going at the moment. They've still got a little bit of hope at the same time, but they're going to have to come up with something different. That's what they're going to have to do.
Touched on for Ite, and a little bit of his brilliance to bubble to the surface. James Kimineo. Lazar. Again, it's James Kimineo.
They seem to be targeting this left-hand side a lot.
White. Mundy. Deus takes on Panetta. Gets to the byline. Couldn't find a way out. Ball steered into the box there, dealt with by the Knights. Panetta nods on for Nichols.
There's that ball over the top.
Sam Smith running onto it, well cut out by Steve White. Not on by Waters. Langdon just content to play it at the feet until Waters arrives in close proximity.
So again, another wasted opportunity. Just a ball straight through. Just control the ball. Just take a little bit of sting out of it there and maybe get some width. But I'm just going direct. The Knights are always going to win that.
The Knights bring their supporters to the fore again. Panetta dances around and manages to creatively get a shot away.
Great little bit of skill.
Loves taking on the man, doesn't he, Nick Panetta? Gold Coast Knights about to ready their first change. Jaden Prasad's arrival will occur very shortly.
See, by slowing the ball down, by slowing the tempo down again, Gold Coast right behind everybody behind the ball.
James Kimineo. The most brilliantly directed of balls, and Olympic also about to throw their last roll of the dice in terms of substitutes. So change coming up from both teams. So Nick Panetta, the first goal scorer for the Gold Coast Knights. He'll be replaced with just over 20 minutes remaining. Jaden Prasad, you can see on screen there, will be the man coming on.
Excellent shift by Nicholas Panetta. Scored a goal, and as we just said there, he almost set one up there, or he almost scored as well. A second one.
It's the furthest man on the pitch, and Nick Panetta is saying, really, do you want me to go over off on that side? Phil Lasem, his night's done. He'll be replaced by number 14, Eric Panza, for Olympic. It's a confirmation from Anton Shetinen. So Ben Kahn, he's emptied his bench now, unless we can go to extra time. And Nick Panetta gets a stirring round of applause.
Yeah, he
from
may
the
get dragged
supporters
into the crowd there. That might be the last we see of Nicholas for a while. A very slow walk round there. Soak up all the applause, and well deserved.
So Waters acting as a makeshift striker at the moment.
So again, that's that direct ball. That's not what they're looking for. Let's get it into the wide areas. We've got a better chance of getting something from a wide area, and Christian will get his head on it.
What do you think, folks? Will the Gold Coast Knights' numerical advantage play against them in the last 20 minutes and allow Olympic to get back into this game? Could be shades of the 2013 Grand Finals, as I said before. Olympic 2 goals down at this stage that night. Came back to force extra time. They need a repeat of history to allow that to occur. 2 in the wall. Free kick's taken. Banged on! Oh, it's hit the side netting. The flag was up for offside, however, anyway. Gave the Gold Coast Knights supporters a lot of hope and thinking that
it was number 3.
That probably would have been the end of this journey for Olympic. Thanks for watching on at home. Hope you're enjoying this grand final. Plenty of you watching this evening. Paces far flung as Kristen Waters becomes the second player booked for Olympic.
I did mention before, just at half time, Rafe, that I'm sure that Ray Priddick would have trained with 10 players as well, because they're so physical in their approach that they almost expect that in games like this they might end up down to 10 men. And I wouldn't be surprised in talking to him after the game that he says we probably half expected something like this to happen. And they're just so professional in how they go about it. Very, very smart.
Mia Face watching on. Kath Ware from Japan. Currently enjoying some holidays in the land of the rising sun. Great to have you watching on, Kath. Again, Olympic at 6s and 7s there almost. You feel that this third goal is potentially coming for the Gold Coast Knights.
It is. Unfortunately, I'm trying to figure out what sort of formation Olympic are playing at the moment. I don't really have an idea or an answer for you, because there seem to be a bit of everything. They really haven't got themselves sorted.
So massive crowd in here this evening, Martin. 3,127
Superb.
on
Well
hand
done.
at Perry Park.
Congratulations. Football Queensland and everybody for coming to watch it. Brilliant. Any idea how many people are watching or listening?
Got about 600 on Facebook at the moment.
Superb.
More on YouTube.
I've just been lynched by a Gold Coast Knights supporter.
They should be happy. They're up 2-0.
So look at there's no space behind.
White. Mundy, once again, Olympic being held at the edge of that final third. Lofthouse being squeezed for room. Can they conjure something up here? Always first to the ball, the men in white at the moment.
Just so strong on the ball. They're desperate to win everything. And physical in everything that they do at the same time. They're so committed.
James Kimineo. That stout Gold Coast Knights defence. Conceded just 3 goals in their last 6 games.
Amazing. As they commit this with it, there's so many times they commit. Just if somebody made an overlapping run on the left-hand side there, there's a chance there. There's space in behind. The young boy Cumaneo was getting the ball, the same ball all the time. But if somebody just made a run on the outside of him, we could drop the ball to them, and it's open.
Lofthouse, he's going to try and take on the defender there.
I have a funny feeling they gave Jez a free roll up front tonight. That's what it looks like to me. Give him a free roll, go out there and express yourself, because I know he had a really good run in the FFA Cup. He looked brilliant in it on Fox TV. He really did. He looked well, and here's another stage for him to show his talents, and just hasn't happened for him tonight.
What do you think a player like he has to do to try and take it up to that next step? And still quite young.
He's very young, but and sorry to jump in there. For me, it's pretty obvious. He's got to see more of the ball in the right areas. You know what I mean? And maybe, as young as he is at the moment, maybe not giving him such a free role, giving him a more defined role. And his strength at the moment is standing people up and taking them on. So I'm confused by his position. Look where he is right now. I'm confused with that. I do believe he's a better player on a flank, right or left.
Ben Khan is barking out the instructions to his side. Under a quarter of an hour to play now. Gold Coast Knights supporters fire up once more. They're rocking Perry Park.
Just coming back and just to finish off on that, and the A-League lacks players that can take players on. Jez Lofthouse is a player that can actually do it, and I'd love to see it happen more, and I'd like to see it happen on the A-League stage, because I think he deserves an opportunity.
It's a great pity, considering second substitution in the next couple of minutes.
Take him on.
Can't find any way through at the moment. Deus goes without it momentarily. Gold Coast Knights saying to referee McDonald, surely there was a bit of a flying challenge in there from Deus. Just clipped the heels of Matt Smith, it looked like. Kimineo floats one. And Langdon with good hands.
Safe.
There's plenty of pressure around.
Yeah, very safe. Nothing better as an ex-central defender when your goalkeeper comes out, collects something like that, and takes the sting out of the attack, slows the game down a little bit.
Lofthouse. Hanson, one of his first touches of this evening. Coming on as the sub. Glover. mean, they've got as much room as they like in this part of the park, Olympic. But
again, I'm sounding like Channel 10 full of repeats. It's so predictable. It's unbelievable.
What can you change up here, Mark?
Yeah, you can change by moving the ball quicker and getting the ball into wide areas quicker and creating a 2v1. There it is right there. There it is right there. You know what I mean? So Matt Mundy looked like he tried to make that run. That's how you can do it. Get the ball into wide areas, create 2v1s and get the ball over. That's the best way to do it. And when I say the ball over, if it's a cutback, might take the goalkeeper at the equation at the same time, and you're able to get a head on it or a second ball. That's the best way. That's the only way I can see Olympic getting anything at the moment, unless they get a set play that is free kick or penalty.
Deus. Oh, a nice little flick on with the back of the heels by Chris Lucas.
And by saying that, Rafe, I'm quite happy to be proven wrong. Do something different. Olympic, I'm more than happy to be proven wrong, but I think that's the only way at the moment I can see something happening.
Waters finds himself in uncharacteristic territory. Referee was allowing the advantage. He got the shot away, but Ito right at the edge of the D with a dead ball opportunity now.
So what we might do is we might just give Alex Smith a call and ask him to come on for this. Would you reckon, the special plays?
Unfortunately, Olympic have exhausted their bench. Do you reckon you might be able to get 10 minutes out of him?
So I did say a set play might be the way into the game.
White and Lofthouse.
Has Olympic got a record this year on scoring from set plays you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that you're aware of.
Let's see if we can pick up the first stat. So it'll be wide off the left, punched away by Langdon.
Would I be right in saying that's the first real save that the goalkeeper has had to make?
I think you might be right there, Mark.
He's got it on target.
Let's grab a second look at it.
There you go.
Punched away by Langdon. Corner now for Olympic with 10 to play.
A goal now would make it very interesting.
Extremely interesting. If there wasn't a sense of urgency, there certainly should be now. It's played short by White. Gets the return ball. Nodded on, and again Langdon clumps.
Safe as houses.
Hansa was underneath him. That posed no challenge whatsoever. Played the first part of the season, Josh Langdon, before Tim Allen took over, and then Langdon back in charge again with the gloves. First choice keeper for the Knights. Almost 700 watching now on Facebook.
I just heard Ben Can shout there, run at him. As soon as is it Brendan Camineo on the left-hand side? James, sorry. As soon as James got it, I heard Ben shout, run at him, run at him, run at him. You know what I mean? And he played the ball back inside. It's just, must be so frustrating for him because he can see there's a one-on-one on the outside and he chose to come back in where all the numbers were.
So Luke Marsh about to enter the fray. Sam Smith, the skipper, will be the man replaced, and once again, player on the further side of the pitch. He's the captain. He's got to hand over the armband. There's all sorts of administrative duties that got to be done before he can come off the pitch.
Absolutely, plenty of slowing down the clock time to happen. He's done that.
So Sam Smith's night done. Luke Marsh coming on. Frank Monteverdi. Well, it is Martin Doherty in co-commentary. I'm not so sure about the great Martin Doherty, but we've got Melissa watching on in Texas. Great to have you, Melissa, watching on. Go the number 11. We'll assume you're talking about, well, I won't venture to say which number 11. It's either Jaden Prasad or Jez Lofthouse that you're cheering on. Chinga, thank you very much for your kind thoughts. And person we know well, Sarah from out Albany Creekway.
Oh, I know Sarah.
Saying hello to both of us.
Hello, Sarah. It's a funny one there again. Like the wide areas, it's incredible the amount of times they've got the ball in the wide areas and they haven't got the end product. And I'd say that Ben will be pulling his hair out. it's almost like an opportunity lost because he's had 45 minutes to change things and to do things differently, and it's been much of the same, to be honest with you. And Gold Coast have done what they do very well, things professionally. They've almost stifled the game. Here we go.
Issues there close. Once again, the Knights able to deal with it.
There's a ball out in this area.
The Olympic, I should say the Gold Coast Knights. Supporters there, the banging you can hear in the background.
To get the building inspectors in here tomorrow to make sure the rafters are okay. My goodness, the place is, as you said, rocking. And we're on the opposite side and you can feel the place shaking.
Imagine being the bus driver on the way home though. Hope he's taken a few Panadol. Well, the Gold Coast Knights there searching for a third. And Mundy, he kept it in there.
It's great work there by Jack Glover. Very cool.
6 to play plus stoppages. Time rapidly running out for the team that finished 4th and knocked off the Premiers last week.
Was that their final, do you reckon?
It could have been, of course. For a number of weeks there, they had to juggle the NPL Queensland as well as the FFA Cup. Basically decided that, you know, we're not going to finish any better than 4th. We may as well play some youngsters. Managed the FFA Cup, set ourselves up for Lions in the first week of the finals.
The Olympic players having a go at the referee for the Knights doing what any good team would do, and that is kick the ball away and waste some time.
Anton Shetland, you can see there in the bottom of the shot, just prowling the sideline. And that off targets. Luck not going Olympics' way. 5 to play now. Even got the Vuvuzelas out tonight.
It's been a bit like the South African World Cup, isn't it? Many noises in the background.
Here we go from Langdon.
Now put it down and play it quickly. Look at the Knights players all filing, forgetting about the ball and just going straight through the middle, just blocking the channels up.
Mundy forced to go full pirouette.
Yeah. The ball back into the same channel.
James Kimineo clipped the heels of Jaden Walker there. Quickly launched forward.
I'm sure even on a Monday morning the coaches will review the video of the game, and Ben will be so upset about that same ball has gone in. That's 4 or 5 times the same ball has gone in, and the goalkeeper Langdon has just picked up the same ball, and that's what I've said a number of times now. If you just get a player that overlaps on the other side and it's a different ball that's coming in, it can be a ball, it can be a cutback, it can be a ball straight across the goalkeeper's face or a ball on the ground. It's been the same ball in over and over and over again the second half, and again coaches do review the videos even though it's the last game of the season.
Yeah, even though it's a losing grand final.
Yeah, you'll do it, and any coach will do it.
Though.
It's horrible to do, but you still do it. You know what I mean? And then you start thinking what could or what should I have done differently. And
here players in like other sports like the AFL, you know, who lose a grand final and say, no, never, ever, ever going to watch that game.
Yeah, it's funny, you might say never, but at some stage when you've got a little bit of time on your hands, you will go back and review it. And hope that if this situation ever arises again, you've always got an outcome, you've got a solution.
Walker.
As I said, Knights haven't changed at all. Even down a player, they haven't changed at all. They've just got it, played it directly. When they don't have it, get behind the ball. Be difficult to break down.
Still searching for a third. Brown just takes the shirt of his opponent.
Jack Glover done well.
And Lucas bowls Jaden Walker over. Gold Coast Knights love that.
Just frustration there.
Doing his former coach a bit of a favour there, Chris Lucas.
Yeah.
Nichols takes it on. Still a bit early to go to the corner, but Gold Coast Knights are going to do so anyway. 3 Olympic players arrive on the scene. James Kimineo sends it across the sideline.
I'd say that Mitch, obviously using all that experience, has probably anticipated that one of the Olympic guys would come in and fill them anyway, and they get something from it, and they've actually got the throw-in, so they've done well.
Still content to play it over near the corner flag. Brown back heels in search of Nichols. Mundy runs away with it.
Oh, the referee.
Blew that whistle just a fraction early.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt Stein and Dan Panisi, for bringing up the 2013 Grand Final. Mondays. Close to heading into stoppage time. Again, Kimineo floats one in. It's ended up in the back of the net. Touched last by the Gold Coast Knights player. 30 seconds plus stoppages remaining. And there's some late hope here for Olympic. Well, Kristen Waters was the man in close proximity. And is there bite in the old dog yet?
And guess what?
Matt Smith's the man who looks like he's put it across the line. So I think that'll be credited as an own goal. We're about to find out just how much time Olympic will have here to try and search for an equaliser. Gold Coast Knights have other thoughts on that at the moment, though. Ben Kahn, he's keen to find out how much time there will be. There will be 4 minutes of time added on.
So what type of cross went in there, Rafe? What type of cross went in there for the goal? A different cross.
A different cross.
A different cross, know what I mean?
Maybe you should be on the bench.
I might actually get myself a gig here. But it was a different cross. I mean, they took the goalkeeper out the play. So it was actually before the goalkeeper, so any touch usually ends towards the goal, and if it's not off a striker, it usually comes off a defender and ends up being an own goal, as it was there. So well done, Olympic. I'm glad you've scored one. Now can you get the second?
Well, Olympic supporters, yes, as you say, will be cheering for goal number 2. And now the Gold Coast Knights supporters letting the referee know that perhaps he should blow the full-time whistle. There's a yellow card coming here to time wasting. Jaden Walker. He's still got a sub up his sleeve too, Grey Critic, so he can potentially pinch another 30 seconds or so.
I'm surprised they didn't launch it. That's brave of them. Brisbane Roar, ball into that left flank.
James Kimineo, all the attention coming in from that left side, as you say, Martin.
Yep.
And Nichols, Johnny on the spot. Glover.
You ready for extra time? Actually, I think the last time we commentated together, we got the extra time, didn't we? And it was an Olympic game as well.
That was the SFA Cup last year, Olympic versus Brisbane City. Olympic prevailing that day to go into the round of 32. And funny enough, they drew Lions. Time running out for Olympic here. Throwing everything, including the kitchen sink. No reward thus far, though.
Need to get the ball wide. Get it in the wide areas. That's where they got the success. Get it in the wide areas. Don't go direct. Get it in the wide areas. There it is.
And by Ito. Again, it's going to come down the left for Cumineo to bang across in. Dillon was the man to deal with the situation.
Now get that overlap happening.
Mundy's come forward. Lofthouse. Ito. Will he go from downtown? No.
Left side.
Mundy. He's come out to help in attack. Pinball's back.
Referee looking at his watch.
Not long now. Mundy. Crowd urging a shot towards goal. Substitute Panza. The Gold Coast Knights players yelling vociferously. They want the full-time whistle to come. This might be the final throw of the dice. Olympic bench goes up as one. Panza out to chase it. And the referee blows the full-time whistle. The Gold Coast Knights prevail in their inaugural season in the NPL Queensland. Jubilant scenes here at Perry Park. They struck first through Nick Panetta inside the first 10 minutes. They went ahead from the dead ball opportunity of Oscar Dillon 63 minutes in. They were doing it pretty comfortably, but Matt Smith snuck one across the line as an own goal for Olympic shortly before stoppage time. It gave Olympic some hope, but the Gold Coast Knights were able to hold out Olympic in stoppage time. Supporters, the Gold Coast Knights, race out onto the field to celebrate victory. It's been another exciting grand final. Huge crowd here at Perry Park. All 3,127 of them have enjoyed this match. And it's the Gold Coast Knights who prevail 2-1 over Olympic in the grand final. Well, Martin Doherty, thank you very much for joining me this evening.
Absolute pleasure.
An enjoyable grand final.
Yeah.
I just want to say something before I go as we see these jubilant scenes of the Gold Coast Knights. As has been said during the week, this is my final full-time game in the NPL Queensland, and many people have been asking why, but as some of you know, I do have other football commitments, and it's just got to a point where things have become too busy, and I appreciate all of your kind thoughts during the week. It's been very heartening, and thanks for the journey over the last 7 years. It's been quite a good one. I've enjoyed it right from the very first game back in round one in 2013, where Brisbane City hosted Olympic, to this grand final here this evening. So on behalf of Martin and myself, it's Rafe Griffin signing on. Thanks very much, everyone. The Gold Coast Knights are jubilant and have prevailed.
Not fans of pyrotechnics, the Gold Coast Knights supporters flooding onto the field here at Perry Park to celebrate with their team. Plenty to pick through from that James Coughlin after this phenomenal match. Where do we start? Well, we have to start with Gold Coast Knights and their goal. Just before the 10th minute, Nick Panetta. Absolutely fantastic goal, and it really put Gold Coast Knights onto the front foot. The red card changed all of that at half-time, but Oscar Dillon, what a backs against the wall goal that was, and that really put the game really beyond doubt.
Yeah, definitely. That was a fantastic free kick from Oscar Dillon there. It gave Gold Coast that extra cushion, and it meant that they had the margin for error to make sure that if Olympic scored, they still had a lead to defend as well, which was really important, being down to 10 players.
We then did have the late drama as well. James Cumineo with the cross. He was a half-time substitute that I think needed to be made. I don't think Olympic had too much in terms of the chances in the first half, and it didn't look like they were going to be able to prise them open unless we see more smoke bombs going across the field here at Perry Park. Good job it's not a big game happening here on Wednesday, isn't there? Oh no, wait, hang on. No, it was a fantastic header from Christian Waters, playing an unfamiliar position up front, of course. He doesn't often go up there, but when he does, he's a handful, and as it proved, of course, Matt Smith, the unfortunate player, to put it into the back of his own net. But it set up a grandstand finish, but one that they couldn't actually manage to get over the line.
Yeah, it was a fantastic ball from Kumineo, and in the end, you know, it was Christian Waters almost having to play that Christopher Samba role from Blackburn in the Premier League about 10 years ago, just sending him forward, trying to make sure that, you know, they've got height there, trying to match the physicality of Gold Coast defence. But in the end, it was the great wall of Carrara that prevailed.
Knew you wanted to get that one in. Yeah, a phenomenal defensive performance from Gold Coast Knights. They did put men back, but they did go forward as well, and as proven by that goal, I mean, what a free kick. Absolutely sensational strike from Oscar Dillon. You'd want that to win any game, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we're trying to work out who will be taken. Would it be Dillon? Would it be Mitch Nichols? And you'd have to say Dillon, you know, he's earned bragging rights for the future as well.
Yeah, Nichols looked like he was struggling a little bit throughout the second half with what looked like a hamstring injury that he might have picked up at the very start of the game, so he did incredibly well to continue battling through. The atmosphere here is absolutely off the scale. 3,127 fans here at Perry Park. It's a fantastic crowd. You can hear the Gold Coast Knights supporters really getting behind their team now. And I feel like that's where we should probably wrap things up.
Yeah, definitely. Congratulations to Gold Coast Knights. It was, you know, tactical masterclass from Gray Pittock there, and you have to say they've earned it with their performance to close out the season.
We'll just have a word about Olympic as well and Ben Khan's side. That's 2 grand finals in a row that they have come up just short, and it has been just short. They did look rather bereft of ideas at times here to try and break down the Great Wall of Carrara, I'll give you that. But nevertheless, they did still prevail, and they kept pushing forward, and they do never give up Olympic. I wouldn't put it past them coming back for a third time around next time. Well, of course, plenty can happen in the off-season. We'll have to wait and see.
You'd have to think that, you know, Ben Khan, Chris Lucas, Jez Lofthouse, those guys come back. Olympic will certainly be in the mix going forward in 2020 as well. But for Lofthouse, it was a really frustrating night. I saw him coming back beyond halfway to try and just get a little bit of space. He clearly tried to mark him out of the game, did Knights, and they did it quite well, unfortunately, for him.
I thought he had a lot of the ball early on, but not in any real promising or dangerous positions, and he was crowded out, and he was marked very, very well. I was very impressed with Max Brown as well. I thought he had another good game for Gold Coast Knights, probably one of the unsung players in that star-studded lineup, but another very good performance. And you have to say, Gray Pittock, not necessarily the most relieved man in Queensland, but certainly someone who's worked so hard for this, and he deserves all the luck that he gets.
Yeah, I think he may not be the most relieved, but I'm sure he's one of, if not the most jubilant man in southeast Queensland right now. He's done a fantastic job getting Gold Coast to this position in their first season in the NPL as well, and can't wait to see what he has for them next year as well. I think they'll be in the mix again as well.
Certainly will. We'll be there for all of those matches, of course, next year. Really, really excited about the upcoming season as well. Of course, plenty of football still to come over the course of the summer. Home to A-League, Brisbane Roar, an exciting season coming up for them. But it's Gold Coast Knights night tonight. We'll wrap things up here from Perry Park. James Coughlin, thank you very much for being alongside me for this one.
Thanks, Simon. I've really enjoyed it, and yeah, bring on 2020 already. I'm pumped.
I've been Simon Smale. Thank you very much for watching this National Premier League's Queensland Grand Final. It has been a double take production. Thank you very much to the production crew for all your hard work today. And we'll see you for the 2020 season. Can't wait.